Hello students, today I will discuss about the new chapter, that is D and F block elements. Children, D block elements are present in between S and P block element in the periodic table. In periodic table, D block elements are present between S and P block element. Group 3 to group 12 are the D block elements. D block elements are those in which last electron enters in d orbital, and F block elements are placed at the bottom of periodic table in two series. That how will you define F block element? The element in which last electron enters in n-2 f orbital, that is called an anti-penultimate shell. Why? While for d orbital the term used is penultimate shell. General electronic configuration of d block element is n-1 d 1 to 10 ns 0 to 2, and for f block elements general electronic configuration is n-2 f 0 to 14 n-1 0 1 and s 2. D block elements are also known as transition elements. Why they are called transition element? Because they are intervening between S and P block elements. There are 4 transition series in the periodic table corresponding to filling of 3D, 4D, 5D and 6D subshell in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th periods respectively. In first transition series, which is known as 3D series, first member is scandium and last member is zinc. Total 10 elements are there. Why 10 elements are there? Because the accommodation capacity of d orbital is 10 electrons. In second transition series, which is called 4D series, first member is yttrium and last member is cadmium. In third transition series, which is known as 5D series, first member is lanthanum. After lanthanum, there are 14 elements which are placed in the lanthanoid series at the bottom in a separate series, and then in main body from hafnium to mercury. And in fourth transition series, which is known as 6D series, first member is actinium, then 14 members of actinoid series placed in the separate row in a table at the bottom of periodic table, and then Rutherfordium to copernicium are the members of fourth transition series. Now children, come to the electronic configuration. In transition element, this one is 3D series, 4D series, 5D series and 6D series. From scandium to zinc, the valence and penultimate shell electronic configuration is shown here. After noble gas configuration, the electron enters in 4s, then in 3d. So in case of scandium, configuration is 4s to 3d1. In case of titanium, 4s to 3d2. In this way, successive entry of electron takes place in the d orbital. In case of chromium and copper, the configuration is exception, means in first transition series there are 2 exceptional configuration, which is copper and chromium. Why these configuration are exceptional? Because in chromium D5 configuration is there and in copper D10. So these orbitals are just half filled and full filled, so they are more stable. Now in second series, the exceptional configuration is of niobium, then of molybdenum, means successive sequence wise filling is not here. The configuration of niobium, molybdenum, then ruthenium, rhodium, then palladium and silver having exceptional configuration, means in second transition series more exceptions are there as compared to first transition series, while in third transition series the exceptional configuration are platinum and gold. Means in first transition series there are two exceptional configuration, that is chromium and copper, and in second transition series exceptions are more in configuration, and in third transition series platinum and gold are the exceptional configuration. Now the absolute correct definition for the transition element is that the transition element is the element in which d orbital is partially filled or incompletely filled in its ground state or in any one of the its oxidation state. Means in transition elements d orbital should be partially filled. So if we apply this definition to all the members present in transition series, then according to the definition, zinc, cadmium and mercury are not regarded as transition element. Why they are not regarded as transition element? Because they have completely filled d orbital in ground state as well as in +2 oxidation state. Configurations are shown here. Zinc having configuration organ 3d10 4s2, and in +2 state again d orbital is completely filled. In same way, in cadmium and mercury in ground state d orbital are completely filled as well as in +2 oxidation state d orbital are completely filled. So therefore these three elements are not regarded as transition elements, they are called d block elements, not the transition elements. Now come to apply same concept in the elements present in the 11th group, that is copper, silver and gold. Zinc, cadmium and mercury are the last member of series, means present in the 12th group, and these are present in the 11th group. If we study the configuration of these members, suppose here configuration of copper is written, again d orbital is completely filled, but they are regarded as transition element. Why are they regarded as transition element although they have completely filled d orbital in ground state? Because they have partially filled d orbital in +2 oxidation state. See here configuration of copper is written organ 3d9, so here d is partially filled. Next come to the general trend in the properties of transition element. There are greater similarity in the property of transition elements in a horizontal row in contrast to the non-transition element. However, some group similarities are also exist. So here generally we discuss in transition elements, we discuss or we study the variation in properties in horizontal row, means in a period because of the poor shielding effect of d orbital as they are more diffused in the shape. Now first physical property is the atomic and ionic radii. Children, you know that in a period the general trend is that atomic and ionic radii decreases because of increasing effective nuclear charge, because of successive entry of electron takes place in same shell, and nuclear charge increases because of addition of a successive proton. So atomic radii decreases whenever we move from left to right. So trend is here general, but if we study data here, so in d orbital no electron enters in d orbital, so nuclear charge increases by unity, but in starting the shielding effect of d orbital is not that effective, hence the net electrostatic attraction between the nuclear charge and outermost electron increases and ionic radius decreases, means this trend is general. Now if we study the data or study the graph, then see here in this bar diagram shown the variation in atomic radii. Up to the chromium trend is general, that atomic radii keep on decreasing. Now after chromium, see here almost atomic radii same, almost remains constant, and then little bit increment in the atomic radii at the end of series. Reason behind, see here in the graph, then this red line indicating 3D series, blue line indicating 4D series, and green line indicating next series. So these series are written here: scandium series, yttrium and third series. So here variation in atomic radii with respect to transition element is shown. So it decreases and at the last it increases little bit. Reason: the irregular variation in the atomic radii is explained on the basis of the factors screening effect. Suppose at up to the chromium atomic radii decreases because of increasing effective nuclear charge, trend is general. Now after chromium, successive entry of electron takes place in d orbital, hence with the increase electron in d orbital screening effect increases, and this increased screening effect counterbalances the increased nuclear charge. That's why atomic radii remains same after chromium, and at the end of period there is slight increase in the atomic radii. Cause of this slight increase is the electron repulsion between added electron in the d orbital, which is greater than the attractive force due to increased nuclear charge. Means in the d orbital, when it is completely filled, the electronic repulsion occur, so which is greater as compared to nuclear charge. That's why a little bit expansion of electron cloud takes place and atomic radius increases. So atomic radius, now come to the group, how variation down the group atomic radii increases, all of you know. So the atomic radii of second transition series is bigger as compared to first transition series, but if we compare atomic radii of second and third transition series, as you have shown in the graph, almost same, and reason behind it is the lanthanoid contraction, because in third transition series entry of electron takes place in the 4f orbital. So we will discuss this lanthanoid contraction in f block element in detail. Next property is ionization enthalpies. In transition series, if we move from left to right, trend is general, that is on moving left to right, ionization enthalpy increases because of increase in effective nuclear charge. If we compare successive ionization enthalpy, then the successive ionization enthalpies are greater as compared to previous one because of removing because after removing one electron, per electron effective nuclear charge increases. So this one is the general trend in the transition series. These ionization enthalpies give some guidance concerning the relative stability of oxidation state. Now if we study data, that although trend is general, but somewhere irregularities are observed in the data of ionization enthalpies. So these irregularities can be explained one important phenomena, that is known as reorganization energy. Suppose if we take example that ionization enthalpy of vanadium is lesser than titanium, although effective nuclear charge in vanadium is more, so ionization enthalpy should be more, but here some irregularity in the data, it can be explained on the basis of this reorganization energy, that as we remove electron from the valence shell by providing energy, and during this removal of electron alters the relative energy of 4s and 3d orbital. Alters the relative energy of 4s and 3d orbital means there is reorganization of energy accompanying ionization takes place, means reshuffling of energy of 3d and 4s orbital, because these two orbitals are of slightly different energy. This results into the exchange energy, which increases as the number of electron increases in the d orbital. So and also from the transference of s electron into d orbital, means after reshuffling of energy of 3d and 4s orbital, electron transferred from s orbital to d orbital. Now they can exchange their position, and during exchanges they can release energy. This energy is known as exchange energy, as you have studied already during the explanation of half filled and full filled configuration of chromium and copper. So this reorganization energy helps in explaining the irregularity in the data of vanadium, and somewhere in case of copper same concept is applied. Remember it children that exchange takes place between the orbital having same spin. Now next is the if we compare ionization enthalpy of transition metals with the s and p block element. So here in the difference in the ionization enthalpy between two successive d block element is very much less than the difference in the case of successive s or p block elements. It is due to increased shielding effect of d electron, which counterbalances the increased nuclear charge. Due to this counter effect, the ionization enthalpy show a little variation in a period in d block elements. Now these are few points. The first, ionization enthalpy of zinc, cadmium and mercury are very high because of fulfilled electronic configuration. It is a stable configuration. Second, ionization enthalpy of chromium is higher than manganese. Why? Because after removing electron from 4s, chromium acquires a stable configuration, and similarly copper acquired D10 configuration, which is stable, so removal of second electron is difficult. Third, ionization enthalpy of manganese is very high. Again the same concept, that after removing 2 electron it acquires just half filled electronic configuration. Now these ionization enthalpy values help in explaining the thermodynamic stability of transition metal compounds. Means the smaller the sum of ionization enthalpy of metal, stable is its compound. Suppose if we compare compounds of nickel and platinum in +2 state and in +4 state. +2 compounds of nickel in +2 state are more stable than platinum compounds in +2 state. Reason behind is the ionization enthalpy. Here data are shown for the nickel and platinum. Sum of first two ionization enthalpy, means first and second ionization enthalpy for nickel is 2.49 into 10 raised to power 3, while for platinum is 2.66 into 10 raised to power 3. Means for platinum +2 ion formation more energy is required as compared to nickel +2 ion. Therefore thermodynamically nickel +2 is more stable. While if we compare platinum +4 compounds as compared to nickel +4 compound, now see here second, third and fourth ionization enthalpy data are shown here. Sum of all four ionization enthalpy for nickel is 11.29 into 10 raised to power 3, while for platinum is 9.36 into 10 raised to power 3. Means the sum of all four ionization enthalpy for platinum is less as compared to nickel. So platinum +4 compounds are more stable as compared to nickel +4 compounds. One example is asked that K2PtCl6 is formed while K2NiCl6 does not. You can explain by applying the same concept. Next property is metallic character. All the transition metals are typical metals, means they exhibit all the characteristics of metal. For example, they are hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile and having high melting point and high electrical conductivity. These transition metals have relatively low ionization enthalpy as compared to p block element and have 1 or 2 electron in their valence shell. As a result, metallic bonds are formed, hence they behave like a metal. Now if we study metallic bonding in transition element, how metallic bonds are formed? that kernel of one metal atom attracts the electron of mobile electron of another metal atom and metallic bonds are formed. So that metallic bonding is also here, but along with the attraction between kernel and mobile electron, one specific type of bonding is also here in case of d block elements. That's why they are hard. That metallic bond is due to d orbital overlapping. This one is shown d orbital, this one is d orbital of one metal atom and this one is d orbital of another metal atom having unpaired electron. So those d orbital which have unpaired electron undergo dd overlapping, means overlapping takes place and sharing of electron takes place, having somewhat showing covalent character. So this dd overlapping provide strength to the metallic bond in the transition elements. That's why in transition elements the metallic bonds are strong as compared to s block elements. Therefore they are typical metal, they are hard metal, while in s block element metals are soft. Now the strength of metallic bonding depends on this dd overlapping. So if greater the number of unpaired electrons, stronger is the bonding, means more sharing takes place due to overlapping of d orbital having unpaired electrons. So if number of unpaired electron are more, strength of metallic bonding is more. That's why chromium, molybdenum and tungsten, which are present in 6 group, they are hard metal because of having 6 unpaired electrons, 5 in D and 1 in S. So these are the hard metal, while if we study zinc, cadmium and mercury, which are not very hard due to absence of unpaired electrons. So in case of zinc, cadmium and mercury, this dd overlapping is not possible. That's why mercury exists as a liquid. Next property is the melting and boiling point. Obviously melting and boiling point depends on the strength of bond. So because in transition element metallic bonds are strong, that's why they have high melting and boiling point. From graph it is clear variation in the melting point, and a starting of the series melting point increases up to the chromium, then strong dip in the melting point of manganese. Similarly in second transition series for technetium, and in third transition series in the rhenium. So here the dip in the melting point of manganese is due to its half filled electronic configuration. So delocalization of electron is less. Therefore in case of manganese and technetium, electronic configuration is just half filled, so metallic bond will be weak, and at the end of series decrease in melting point is shown. It indicates that as the pairing of electron in d orbital takes place, therefore dd overlapping is not possible. So strength of metallic bond decreases and melting point decreases. Next property is enthalpy of atomization, means the energy required for converting metal atoms into gaseous metal atoms, 1 mole of metal atom into gaseous form. So if we study data or see here from the graph that enthalpy of atomization for transition metals are high, but whenever we move from left to right, the value of enthalpy of atomization decreases. Reason behind here is again the same, that is enthalpy of atomization are high because of strong metallic bond formation. The elements for which enthalpy of atomization is low, means in that case metallic bonds are weak, that's why enthalpy of atomization for that are low. Next property of transition metal is oxidation state. All the transition element except first and last member of each series show a number of oxidation state, means show variation in oxidation state as shown in the table, that is scandium shows +3 only, because of acquiring noble gas configuration, nearest noble gas configuration. After losing 3 electrons, zinc shows +2 oxidation state only, because after losing 2 electron d orbital is completely filled. Rest of the members show variation in the transition series. So why transition elements show variable oxidation state? Reason is the little difference in the energy of n-1 d and ns orbital. Due to very small difference in the energy of these orbitals are used in the bond formation. That's why transition elements show variation in the oxidation state. Now, from the study of oxidation state, these points are observed that the most common oxidation state of 3D series is +2, except in case of scandium, means +2 oxidation state is shown by all the members, because in the valence shell 2 electrons are present. In lower oxidation state, the compounds are mainly ionic, like in +2 and +3 oxidation state, while in higher oxidation state the compounds are covalent, formed by the sharing of d electron, like KMnO4 or potassium dichromate. Next point is that if we study the highest oxidation number, so at the mid of series the element present shows highest oxidation number, like in 3D series manganese show +7, in 4D series ruthenium show +8, and in 5D series osmium shows +8 oxidation number. From the oxidation state, means if any element shows more than one oxidation state, because variation is shown by d block elements. So if more than one oxidation state shown by the element, then we can compare the stability of oxidation state on the basis of their standard reduction potential. See, one example is given here, that copper 1+1 ion reduces to copper, the electrode potential value is 0.52 volt, and copper +2 changes to copper, E0 value is 0.34 volt, means the reduction, the ion for which standard reduction potential value is high, means reduction of that ion is easier as compared to copper +2 to copper. So here means copper +1 loses 1 electron and converted into copper +2, means the ion for which, means if we compare the stability of ion, then the ion for which the standard reduction potential value is less, that ion will be more stable as compared to ion for which the standard reduction potential value is high. So by comparing the electrode potential, if ion having low electrode potential, standard reduction potential, that ion will be more stable. Now these oxidation state, means the highest oxidation state shown by transition metal with fluorine and oxygen, as both are highly electronegative in nature. Now if we compare stability of copper 1 compound as previously discussed, then copper 1 compound means in +1 oxidation state they are unstable and undergo disproportionation to change it into copper +2 state. Why copper +2 ions are more stable? Because of high negative hydration enthalpy. Copper +2 ions are more stable because of more negative hydration enthalpy, because for finding the E0 value, standard electrode potential value, 3 factors are responsible, that is sublimation enthalpy, ionization enthalpy and hydration enthalpy. So on the basis of these 3 values we can find the electrode potential, and for copper 2 ion electrode potential value is low because of more negative hydration enthalpy. That's why copper +2 ions are more stable as compared to copper +1 ion, means compounds of copper in +1 state is less stable, although configuration is completely filled in copper +1, yet it is unstable because of less negative hydration enthalpy of copper +1. Besides the oxides, higher oxidation state are also found in the oxoanion and oxocation, like VO plus 2 VO2 plus 1 ion is the oxocation of vanadium, and MnO4 1 minus ion is the oxoanion of the manganese. Now, highest oxidation state in transition metal compounds are even more stabilized by oxygen as compared to fluorine. Although it combines with the oxygen and fluorine, but if we compare the oxidation state of same transition element with the fluorine and oxygen, then with fluorine it forms tetrafluoride, means in +4 oxidation state, while with oxygen it forms Mn2O7, means +7 oxidation state. Reason behind it is the ability of oxygen to form pi bond with the metal atom. Now, lower oxidation state shows covalent character, highest oxidation state shows ionic character, and higher oxidation state are more stable in case of heavier members. For example, in group 6 chromium, molybdenum and tungsten are more stable than higher oxidation state are more stable for the heavier members. For example, in group 6 molybdenum and tungsten in +6 state are more stable than chromium in +6 state. Therefore, chromium +6 act as strong oxidizing agent. In lower oxidation state, oxides of transition metals are basic. In higher oxidation state, acidic in character. For example, if we compare oxides of manganese in different oxidation number, then in lower oxidation state it is basic, in middle oxidation state it is amphoteric, and in highest oxidation number it is acidic. Why in highest oxidation number it is acidic? It can be explained on the basis of Lewis acidic character. Because of deficiency of electron in highest oxidation number, they can accept electron, that's why act as acidic in nature. Now, the low oxidation states are also found when a complex compound has ligand capable of pi acceptor character in addition to the sigma bonding. Means if we in metal carbonyls, suppose nickel tetracarbonyl and iron pentacarbonyl, they show the lowest oxidation number. So, in these metal carbonyl, transition metals show oxidation number 0. Not only in these two, in all the metal carbonyl oxidation state will be 0.